1 in 8 Canadian families struggle to put food on the table. Fact is, there are hungry people all around you, not just in third world countries or in the commercials you see on TV. According to Food Banks Canada, approximately 850,000 Canadians are assisted by Canadian food banks each year. 1/3 of them are children. This number has increased by 26% since 2008 and continues to grow. So, there are lots of hungry people. What's being done? Today, the main means of counteracting hunger here in Canada are food banks. Although they are a well-used, life-saving resource, we really shouldn't need them. That is, in a perfect world, of course. But hey, one can dream, and Food Banks Canada has. Based on this year's hunger count, a statistical analysis of hunger in Canada, Food Banks Canada has come up with a series of suggestions that would move us closer to getting rid of food banks. These include replacing our current provincial social assistance or welfare program with a basic income, increasing the availability of affordable housing by reinvesting in the Federal Social Housing Fund, bringing back quality support and employment training for adults with low literacy levels, and focusing on hunger in Canada's northern communities. So, there's the plan. Go get your degree, do something important, get a job somewhere, and make it happen. These recommendations are ideal. Hopes, goals, not immediate reality. Food Banks Canada knows that. We know that. In the meantime, people are hungry, so how can we help right now? You may not be able to invite the entire city to dinner, but you can make a difference in your community, in your province, and together we can change the world. Here's how. Canadian food banks are primarily run by volunteers. These volunteers are often people who are currently using a food bank or have been helped by one in the past. While some food banks receive donations from large corporations like Campbell's and General Mills, most of the food that circulates through the system is donated by people like you. You've been there. You're asked to provide a donation for your local food bank. What do? You go into the back of your cupboard and pull out those canned sardines that your grandmother gave you 3 years ago and hand them over. And that's what ends up in our food banks. While these non-perishable food items are most certainly a blessing to those using the food banks, do you live solely off of peculiar canned food items? Well, perhaps I shouldn't be asking students. Point is, canned spinach can only go so far, especially if you're trying to feed picky kids. While it is understandably difficult to donate fresh food, is there a way that we can make sure real food ends up in our food banks? Sure. First of all, some food banks have invested in a chest freezer, allowing people to donate frozen foods, which are often more nutritious and almost always taste better. Another way to ensure that the people you are helping receive the most nutritious, tasty, and balanced meal as possible is actually checking in with your food bank before you go to donate. Many food banks have an ongoing list of food items that they need, whether it be at that specific time of year or just in general. If there's no such list provided, you can make one up yourself. A quick chat with some food bank volunteers will almost certainly inform you of what they really need. So, now you know how to make your donations worthwhile. Let's get to work and stop hunger in its tracks. Going from experience, I would say that the average student goes to the grocery store about once a week. One large canned food item is approximately $1 at No Frills. In northern terms, that's 1 donut, half a large coffee, 4 Timbits, half a plain bagel with cream cheese, or an iced coffee. If you were to sacrifice one of your Timmy's treats once a week, you could buy 1 extra can of food without spending anything more than usual. Let's do some math. There are about 5,000 students at Nipissing University. If each student were to buy and save 1 extra non-perishable food item each time they visited the grocery store, you would get 20,000 non-perishable food items. Keep this up for 1 semester, each student would have saved about 16 food items each. As a university, that would be 80,000 food items. If the entire university were to do this for a whole school year, or 2 full semesters, our number would be up to 160,000 items. Let's go bigger. In Ontario, there are approximately 683,300 college and university students. If each of these students saved 1 non-perishable food item each time they went to the grocery store over the course of an entire school year, that would be 2,186,000 food items. And better yet, if the 2,023,191 students in Canada were to save 1 food item each week for 8 months, we would have 64,742,112 food items. That's enough food items to stretch across approximately 64,872 football fields, or feed over 700,000 families for an entire week. That's a lot of people that wouldn't be hungry because of you. So, start a box, cupboard, shelf, or corner in your house. Each time you visit the grocery store, buy one extra non-perishable food item and put it in that box, cupboard, shelf, corner, whatever. When your box is full, take a trip to your local food bank and drop off your donation. I'm doing it right now. It's really not that hard. Make a game out of it. Challenge your friends. You don't know who needs your help, but somebody does. We can't get rid of food banks yet, and as long as there's food banks, there's need for food. So, if you need to do the math for yourself, go ahead. But without you, it will always add up to hunger. Let me rephrase that.
Just do it!